The Admiral's laugh echoed through the briefing room like a cold wind. He was the kind of man who could make anyone feel small without even trying. A powerful presence, a sharp suit, and a voice that demanded attention. The room had been tense, full of men and women who had seen too much and said too little. But when the Admiral spoke, the tension shifted into something else, something almost playful. He looked at the young officer standing at the front, a woman with a calm face and eyes that didn't betray her nerves. Her name was Lieutenant Harper Reyes. The call sign was stitched into her sleeve like a warning. The Admiral smiled. "Ghost Viper?" he said. "What kind of name is that? Sounds like a comic book villain." The room laughed. Murmurs rose. Smirks appeared. Even the air seemed to lean into the joke. Harper didn't laugh. She didn't even flinch. She stood perfectly still, her hands clasped behind her back, her shoulders steady. But inside, her heart was pounding. The laughter felt like a knife. She had trained for years to be here. She had earned every stripe. She had sacrificed everything. And now a man with a silver badge was making her feel like a child. She thought she'd never see him again. She was wrong. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who is listening. The Admiral's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger but in curiosity. He leaned forward, his voice softer now, almost amused. "Tell me, Lieutenant," he said, "why did you choose that call sign?" Harper's mouth went dry. She could feel the eyes of the entire room on her. Some of them were expecting a joke. Some of them were waiting for her to fail. Harper's mind flashed back to the day she chose the name. She had been in a desert training camp, surrounded by silence so vast it felt like a living thing. The night had been cold, and the stars had been sharp. She had been thinking about the missions she had been on, the ones no one talked about. The ones that left you feeling like you were still there, even when you were home. She had wanted a name that didn't sound like a woman, a name that sounded like a shadow, a name that sounded like a warning. "Ghost Viper," she said quietly, her voice steady despite the storm inside her, "because I'm trained to be unseen. And when I strike, I don't miss." The room went silent. Not because they were impressed. It's because something about her answer had changed the air. The Admiral stared at her for a moment longer. Then he nodded slowly, as if he had just heard something he hadn't expected to hear. "Interesting," he said. He paused. And then, unexpectedly, he leaned closer to the microphone. "Very well," he said. "We'll see if Ghost Viper lives up to her name." The mission was announced. A covert operation. A rescue deep behind enemy lines. It's a kind of mission that made people whisper before they spoke. The kind of mission where mistakes meant death. Harper listened as the details were laid out. Her mind worked quickly, mapping every possibility. She could feel the weight of the room pressing down on her. The other officers were watching her now, not with mockery, but with something like interest. The Admiral's laughter had died. The room had become serious. And for the first time, Harper felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. She felt the taste of possibility. The night of the mission arrived like a storm. The sky was low and dark, and the wind whipped across the deck of the ship as if it wanted to tear the world apart. The enemy tried to stop them, but the team pushed forward, relentless. The helicopter lifted into the night, the wind roaring, the blades slicing the air. Harper climbed aboard last, her body shaking from adrenaline and exhaustion. She looked back at the darkness below. The battlefield was still alive with gunfire. The world was still dangerous, but she had done it. She had lived up to her call sign. The next day, the briefing room was quiet. The Admiral entered. The room held its breath. He looked at Harper, and for the first time, he didn't laugh. He nodded. "Ghost Viper," he said quietly. "You stopped the room." The other officers stared. Some looked ashamed. Others looked amazed. The mocking was gone. The laughter was gone. Only respect remained. Harper felt the weight of it settle on her shoulders. It's not because she wanted praise, but because she had finally been seen. And in that moment, she understood something she'd been chasing for years. That strength doesn't need permission, doesn't need applause. It simply exists, it simply survives. Because the world may mock you. But your purpose doesn't care, because bravery isn't loud. It's quiet. It's steady. It's real. And when it finally shows itself, even the strongest men fall silent. Because courage doesn't announce itself. It simply stops the room.